Hey guys, so today we are going to cover the gear, enchants, gems, secondary stats, etc., the talents, PvP talents, rotation, add-ons, macros, and also at the end some tips and tricks for solo shuffle. Yep, let's jump right into it. So let's start with the gear. First, what we want to do is get 4 set. Currently, I have my set on the head, shoulders, chest, and gloves. You can have it on the legs as well. I see a couple of people have it on the legs and not having it on the gloves. It's up to you, personal preference. The next one, what we want to do is prioritize mastery. In PvP combat I have around 50% mastery, maybe a little bit less. After mastery, what we want to do is get haste. I have roughly around 20% haste as well. I will quickly show you the gear I have. I use mastery haste gems whenever I can, and most of the times I have Verso Mastery on the PCs. Right now I'm using Verso Haste stuff, but you can change that. It's personal preference again. Yep. For the embellishments, precog is very good, especially in solo shuffle. A lot of times you get kicked by more than one person and then you get precog. And also reprieve is very good. Okay, so this is the gear that I have. You don't have to have the same items with same stats. Luckily in this season all secondary stats work quite well, but the main rule is that you want to have high mastery and some haste as well. So haste, anywhere between 15 and 20% you should be fine as well. And also you can go quite high with mastery. I saw people running 60% mastery even, so that's also viable. It's up to you. This is my standard talent build. On the left side, I don't really change much. There are a couple of things that you can switch. Depending on the enemy lobby, if they are melee heavy or physical heavy, physical damage heavy, you can get rid of these points. What I do in this case, I put 1 point to leech and 1 to the reduced landslide cooldown as well. So basically this is what I exchange. And the other thing is that I switch between Unravel and the Pressing Roar. I like having Unravel against Death Knights and also Mages as well, and Retribution Paladins. Otherwise, I would pick Oppressing Roar for the increased CC effect. On the right side, there are only a couple of things that I change. So this is the standard build. If you have 2 melee in your enemy team, what you can do, so if you like, you can have a 1 minute deep breath. In this case, you can get 1 point from the Archon Vigor and you can put it there as well. And also what you can do against the rest of Druid teams, you can put 1 point to the Font of Magic, and you can also use Scouring Flame. So in this case you will be able to stack up your Fire Breath a lot faster, and you can have 1 additional Empower level, so you can purge more buffs from them. Again, against melee heavy lobby and against a healer that doesn't cost much, you can have increased self heal as well if you feel like that you are going to be trained, but I rarely change that if I'm honest. So about the PvP talents, what I keep 99% of the time is the Unburdened Flight. What I switch around is Nullifying Shroud, Time Stop, Scouring Flame, sometimes Obsidian Metal, rarely nowadays Dreamcatcher. But basically you can use anything. It's really based on like what you are facing against. Important, Nullifying Shroud, I don't really play it against Archon Mages. I don't want them to steal it, so I don't really have it. Or maybe against Purge heavy comps, it doesn't really worth it either, because they will just purge you right at the beginning of the game or whenever you are putting it up. So instead, maybe you can use Time Stop and Scouring Flame. You can use Obsidian Metal whenever there are silence in the enemy team and you feel like that you are going to be the kill target. So for example against Shadow Priest or a Holy Death Knight. But sometimes I also play it just simply against melee as well, because most of the melee will train you because we are quite squishy. But whenever you are using your obsidian skills, you will become immune to silence and interrupt, so you can put pressure on them by just doing a lot of damage and they won't be able to interrupt you, only CC you. Yeah, I guess Restoration Druid, as I mentioned, Scouring Film, this is also good against mages. Yeah, and Dreamcatcher, you can use it, for example, if nobody else has Fear the crowd control in your team, or you can also use it against, for example, Shaman healers or Priest healers, because yeah, I'm very bad at fake casting, so a lot of times they just tank my sleep with the grounding or phase shift, but with this talent you can just spam it. Okay, so rotation. So we have the burst opener. Basically what do you want to do? Dragon Rage, Shattering Star, one tick Eternity Surge, then tip the scales, Fire Breath, and then spam Disintegrate whenever you can, and then you can cast Instant Living Flames as well. So, as we are going to be playing Iridescence, this also means that whenever we are casting Eternity Surge and Fire Breath, the next two blue and red spells will be empowered. So after Eternity Surge, spamming Disintegrate will do increased damage as well, so that's very good. And also, with Shattering Star, we will get a free Essence Burst, and also spells used with Essence Burst will do increased damage as well, so yeah, we can do quite good Disintegrate damage. Fire Breath will have a chance to make our Living Frame instant, which will also do increased damage for 10 seconds. So basically, this is the burst opener. Dragon Rage, Shattering Star, Eternity Surge, tip, fire, and just spam Disintegrate. If you have instantly, you can cast it, and then we will get Essence Burst while we are Dragon Rage, so whenever we are using Azure Strike or Living Flame, we will get Essence Burst. With our tier set, basically we have like a stacking increased damage buff. It can stack up to 25%, so that also means that we will be the strongest at the end of our Dragon Rage. Also, we can only get 25% if we extend our Dragon Rage, okay? So with 4 set, this damage buff will persist for, well, if you were able to cap out the 2 set, then for 25 seconds, and it will also give you free Essence Burst every 5 seconds as well. So we will have a lot of resources to deal damage. Okay, your standard rotation, so we don't have Dragon Rage. Basically what you want to do is hit as many targets as possible with a level 1 Fire Breath to deal the max amount of dot damage, and then similarly Shattering Star, then Eternity Surge, and then keep spamming Disintegrate whenever you have the resource. If you run out, you can use your instant Living Frame procs. If you don't have those either, you can spam Azure Strike. Hopefully you will get some Essence Burst that you can use. But hopefully by this time both Fire Breath and Eternity Surge CDs are back, so you can get back to spamming Disintegrate. Or if not, then what you can also do is just do a little bit of off-healing with Verdant Embrace or Emerald Blossom. By the way, if you use any of these spells, you will get an Ancient Flame buff from this talent, which will make your Living Flame casted for 40% faster, which is great. You can use it for both offensively and defensively. Yeah, so this is it. Again, very straightforward rotation. Okay, now the most frequently asked topic, add-ons. So what kind of add-ons do I use? First, Bigdebuffs. So it allows you to see multiple buffs in your party frames. Also, it highlights the crowd control on your team members as well, and also in your and also on the enemy nameplates, it highlights the crowd control and other CDs that they are using as well. Okay, very useful. Next, Framesort. Basically, what this does is you can set the order of your party frames. So for example, I have it set up as I will always be the top one in my group, then party 1, party 2. So basically this can help with your macros, targeting and such. Okay, again, very useful. Next one, OmniBar. I use it to track enemy CDs. I have 3 bars set up. So OmniBar 1. The first one is for kicks, silences, interrupts. The next one are for crowd control, and the third one is for offensive and defensive CDs. Yeah, the next one, SweepyBoop's Arena Helper. Yeah, and everybody is asking about this one. So what does this add-on do? Basically, it replaces the friendly nameplates with class icons. Okay, so this is the add-on that does it, and also in Arena and in Battlegrounds in PvP instances, it replaces the healer class icons with the healer mark, so you are able to track the positioning better. It also helped me a lot to keep tracking my teammates better. Very useful. I also have Plater for enemy nameplates. I have a specific profile from Mez. You can get it from the Vago EO. I will link it somewhere in the video so you can get it. Okay, for Arena frames, I use Gladius. Nothing fancy, to be honest. I also use OmniCD to track party cooldowns. So the team members' cooldowns will be next to their party frames. So you can see what cooldowns have been used and what is still available. Okay. Spell notifications. So it shows basically whenever your spell is missing, being reflected, the buffs that you have purged, all this useful information. The last one, Weakauras. So this will be the long one. I have a lot, to be honest. I will show you the setups quickly, and I will let you know what they do, so you can copy them or replicate them. And I will also try to, so whenever I have something that I have got from Vago, I will try to give you the link for that. I will show you them. Okay, so that mark, basically whenever an assassination rogue places that mark on me, this Weakauras will come up, and I know that I will have to purge it, and this is how the setup looks like, so you can replicate it. By the way, you can use it for any kind of debuffs as well. I have the same thing for mind games as well, for example, and shadowy duel, right? So you can replicate it, and you can add other debuffs as well if you want to track them. I have my internal buffs, so obsidian scales, hover, renewing blades, time stop. Basically I use it for myself to see how long do I still have left from these buffs, and I use dynamic group to group them together. Disintegrate ticks, I have this from Baguio. You can see the link here. Basically, what does this do is it shows like when do you need to clip disintegrate, when do you have to recast it, so you maximize the damage output. I can show you actually. So on the cast bar, it will show you where you need to clip disintegrate to maximize your damage. Yeah, Dragon Rage, I'm tracking the buff. Enemy healer, yeah, this is also asked. So enemy healer and healer CC. So the healer CC is the original one. I got it from Vago again. Standard one, this just shows like whenever my healer is CC'd, it shows which spell he is affected from, and also it also plays a sound. So we also have a Weakaura for the enemy healer CC, link is here. Though I have to say that when I installed it, it did not work properly. So I had to change some things in it. I'm not sure what did I change, but I will just quickly show you the setup for it. And for me it works. I think I changed something here in the trigger. I will just scroll through and you will be able to see my setup and you can copy and replicate it. Okay, externals on me. So this is a pack again I got from Vago. You can download it. It just shows like the external CDs defensives used on you. So this is very, very, very useful so you don't overlap with your own defensives. I'm checking iridescence, procs as well. They show next to me. I have Mass Arena CDs. You can get it from here. They only use stand in Addon, stand in AMC and barrier. Quickly again show you the setup so you can replicate it if you want. So this is trigger 1 and trigger 2. So you can set it up if you want based on this information. Okay, I tried to do it for AMZ and barrier, but yeah, it didn't work and I got lazy. So stop bothering with it. I have a specific power infusion, Weakaura, so I can see it better if I'm PI'd. Recog buff. Showing it again. We'd like to replicate. And what's still important is the T danger alerts. Again, you can get this from Vago. Here's the link. Basically, it shows whenever an offensive CD is used on the enemy team, and it also shows like who the enemy is targeting, right? So whenever an evoker pops Dragon Rage, then it will also show the name who they are targeting. Okay, so it also shows if they are hitting you, so you can act better accordingly. The rest is not that important. Okay, macros. So I don't really use much. What I use for sleepwalk, for example, it's on my Q, but whenever I'm pressing shift and Q at the same time, then the sleepwalk will be casted on my focus target. If I'm just simply pressing the Q, then it will be casted on my target. Same logic for quell as well. For landslide and deep breath, I use an @cursor macro, so I won't have to actually select when I want to go. It will automatically go or be casted at the location of my cursor. Some tips for solo shuffle. So first, what do you want to do in shuffle? Just keep playing. Bad lobbies happen, even losing like 100 rating. That's absolutely fine. Okay, I've done that, I've been there. So even before I reached elite, I was like 2390 something, and then I lost more than 200 rating. I kept playing and I was able to climb back. So what helped me to improve is that I stopped playing to win. Instead, I started playing to improve myself. I started paying attention to my mistakes, what am I doing wrong, and then I started thinking about, okay, what can I do differently next time? The next one, record your games. So if your PC can do that, I highly recommend that you record your games, watch it back, analyze it, again, look out for your mistakes as well, and try to figure out like, okay, what did you do wrong? What could you have done differently? So the next one, CCing the healer. So what's very important, and I make this mistake still a lot of times, that I'm not paying attention to the DRs. So I feel like, okay, yeah, my sleepwalk is off CD, I have cooldown CDs, so if I CD or if I CC the healer, then I will be able to pump damage and probably kill someone. But what I didn't check first, if the healer is on fear DR or not, because it's possible that the healer is on double or triple DR or maybe even immune to CC. So the next tip, survive, right? Most of the times, most of the lobbies, you will be the kill target. Unfortunately, for the Devastation and Evokers in general, so our defensives, our Obsidian Scale, and Renewing Blaze, they are not really effective if we are already in low health. So pay attention whenever the enemy is popping CDs and they are jumping on you. Don't be afraid to trade a defensive CD. Our Obsidian Scale, it has 2 charges and very low cooldown, 1.5 minutes. And also a Renewing Blaze, though it doesn't really mitigate any damage, but it will help you recover as well. So these CDs won't help you much if you press it late when you are already low health. What you can also do when you are on high health, is use time stop. Try think ahead, and whenever the enemies are popping CDs, then you can just immune yourself, sit tight, and avoid a lot of damage. What's important about time stop is that while you are immune to everything, enemies and allies, they can still target you and they can still cast spells on you, okay? So enemies, they can waste a lot of resources and spells and CDs on you, but unfortunately this is true for your healer as well. So yeah, try to use it while on high health, so your healer doesn't get scared and they will avoid using CDs on you. But of course this is shuffle, so it will still happen a couple of times, but this is why it's good to use it on high health. Right, next tip, deal damage. We need to create pressure to win games, and luckily as Devastation we have a lot of damage. So if you guys watch skill cap videos, then what I'm going to show you might be familiar. So this is the first thing that I wanted to show you about damage. So does throughput really matter in shuffle? So throughput basically means pure damage and healing, and Devastation is here in the first half of the specs. So for us, yes, damage actually matters. And if you see in the video, it showed like how specific spells correlate to winning games, and for Devastation this is how it looks. So the more Eternity Surges and Disintegrates we spam, the more likely that we are going to win. So these two are the top spells, and then Living Flame, Shattering Star, Ignore, Time Dilation. Fire Breath still have like a positive correlation, but not that priority. And don't play Divide and Conquer. So this is from Wowarenalogs. And in solo shuffle, basically you can set in order like different specs based on their win rate, DPS, burst DPS, first blood. In this case, first blood means that yeah, we die the first time, or which spec dies the most the first time. And if we ignore the ratings, and if we set in order like which spec dies first or dies the most, we are the fourth among the specs. Keep this in mind, we die a lot, hence we will be focused a lot. But despite dying a lot, we still have a positive win rate. If you take a look at the burst DPS at all ratings, we are the top one. If you take a look at the average DPS, we are the third one. So Devastation is a good spec. In this season, we are very good. We have received a lot of buffs, survivability, and damage buffs as well. We just need to utilize it. And the last one, last tip, do not overcommit, do not overchase. So if you are very good at tracking CDs and you see that, yeah, they have no stuns, no CDs left, no defensive, no offensive CDs, you can go. And also, yeah, that's a good point. Only push for the kill whenever you will have any means to escape. You have a trinket ready to escape a stun, but mindlessly chasing won't help. It will only get you killed most of the times. So don't do that. Okay guys, so this was it for today's video. I know this is a longer one, but I just wanted to cover as much stuff as possible. So thank you so much for tuning in, thank you for watching, and have a nice day. Bye.